Welcome to the All Four Downs podcast. I am Joe McGuire. This week, it's a recap of week 0 in college football. And speaking of zeros, USC looked just okay. Hartman versus Williams, we'll talk about that coming up in first down. We'll also preview week 1, including our Yukon Huskies. Deion Sanders makes his debut for Colorado. LSU and Florida State on Sunday. Clemson playing on Monday. We've got that. Plus, third down will help you make your picks. And then in the final whistle, Jim Harbaugh, the voice of the student athlete. We'll have some thoughts on that. Now, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ovi Muniz. Ovi, you want to just talk right about USC? Because you said it just before we went live here. They did not look like a top 10 football team.
No, and we could cover down with first down here. Man, USC, again, this is week 0, maybe. Maybe it's those week 0 first game jitters and stuff like that. But they didn't look impressive. A lot of drop passes, wide receivers, tight ends, fumbles, and you're going against a team that you're supposed to blow them out. Okay? Convince everybody that you are a top 10. I'm not convinced. I don't have them in the top 10 in my rankings. Those of you that looked at my preseason a couple of episodes ago, and USC is really in my top 15. Not convinced. I don't even think USC is the best team in the Pac-12. And let alone this is the last year of the Pac-12. That's another story. I still don't think that USC is better than Oregon as of right now. Now, of course, we haven't seen Oregon play yet this year, but they do have the most experienced quarterback in Bo Nix. But Caleb Williams, he is the leader, putting the team together. Now, will they play like that every week? Of course not. They're going to improve. But if you're going to be considered as predicting that you're going to make the playoffs, you got to play to win the game convincingly. Not just, hey, we just beat them. Because one, you didn't even cover the spread. And now we're talking about power rankings right there. Okay.
You expressed a lot of concern about their defense last season. They looked pretty terrible. Front four did an okay job. The rest of the defense looked awful and got exposed. And that's the reason they didn't cover. The defense isn't very good. And I was looking at their schedule earlier today. It's going to be tough.
Oh, most definitely is going to be tough.
Like Notre Dame did, and be smart enough to schedule one of the worst programs in the country for your warm-up game as Notre Dame did.
Oh, listen, Pac-12 overall, okay? Pac-12 overall is a weak conference. I don't know why there's just so much hype. And again, we could always debate on who was the Heisman winner, who should have deserved it. But that's another case. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to go through here and finish on week 1 right here. Notre Dame defeated Navy, okay, convincingly. Covered the spread. I won this game. I picked them 20.5. Awesome, okay? But then we move over to the 2 worst schools in college football and thinking, you know what? The home team should win this game. No. Little did I know, and I did little research on UMass, but UMass has a new head coach, and he's coming on his second season, and he's turned things around, and UMass got their first win, and they look very sharp. So I lost this one. However, USC, the team that's supposed to dominate against San Diego State, that really don't got that much talent in that team, they were favored 30.5 and did not cover. That's a big concern. Okay. All the other games that played them, they blew them out somehow with all the mistakes. And again, is it because of week 0? It might be. And let's see if we evaluate, because they're going against a non-contending team next week. And let's see this weekend if they perform better or do they perform the same. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on USC.
I think I would have taken that 30 and a half.
You probably would, and then we'd be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I told you so." Right?
Yeah,
But
that feels like something I would have done.
yeah, you would because you would be hating on USC.
Big time. Big time. And I think I'm right too. They're going to
Yeah,
they're going to lose 3 games this year.
3 games, you believe?
Yep.
All right. Well, listen, let's talk about let's flirt a little bit with the Heisman right now. As of right now, there's only really 2 quarterbacks that actually did an outstanding job. And when you're looking at him right now, Sam Hartman. I've said it before during our preseason shows and stuff like that, that once Sam Hartman went to Notre Dame, that's it. That is their missing piece for Notre Dame. I'm predicting right now, Notre Dame will finish the season 12 and 0. 12 and 0. And I guess I know they went against Navy. I know, but it is the execution of that offense. Okay. He is not afraid to throw the ball up in the air. He's allowing their wide receivers to play the game. No one's trying to force it and trying to be perfect. Look, you want to run long? Go long. I'm going to throw this ball to you. You better go get it. That is a change for the last 3 quarterbacks that Notre Dame has. And finally, Hartman, who is known to be throwing he threw twice over 4,000 yards with Wake Forest. Now, whatever was the falling out with Wake Forest to decide to transfer over to Notre Dame probably was the best decision coming from the head coach who is defensive minded. You put those pieces together, how you not go for Notre Dame and make it to the college football playoffs?
Yeah, I think this is as much about Sam Hartman trying to prime himself up for the NFL than anything else.
Of
Obviously,
course, why not? But
being
it's
a
trustworthy though. It's trust.
yeah,
He has the
listen,
talent.
I'll say this, look, he went up against the JV squad basically, and he looked tremendous, and their offense was very impressive. Navy's head coach was blown away by the efficiency, but I just can't help but think that the talent gap has quite a bit to do with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
And listen, look, I think
great
if it
start
was
though by
another
Notre Dame.
quarterback, if it was another quarterback, it might be a closer game. Maybe you shade away at least 25 points. Not saying, and again, Navy is a different style of football, which they run more than what they do than throwing the ball. And they have a new head coach. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like there's a lot of changes going on with Navy,
Yeah, they
but
threw
it's
the
just
ball
the
once in the first half.
execution.
So,
Mhm.
listen, there was a lot of talk about, them doing something different, and, they threw 6 passes in this game instead of 3 passes. So, I don't know. Same old Navy, same old Navy. It is what it is. This was a
Yeah,
complete mismatch, but like Isaiah chimed in with, they took care of business. That's what you're supposed to do. And Caleb
exactly.
Williams and company certainly didn't.
Right. And Heisman winner Caleb Williams throws 4 touchdown passes. Did lead USC to go against to beat San Jose State 56-28. But why that defense is giving up 28 points?
Because it stinks.
And that's the problem they had last year.
Yep.
And Lincoln Riley has a history, okay, with this Big 12 defense that there is no defense. And they're not going to win a playoff game, let alone they lost last year in the bowl game. Okay. And now people predicting USC is going to be one of the top 4 teams. They better not be if they have that type of defense. So I think I already set my mind on that real quick. Um, but let's get to some games, shall we? Let's start
Mhm.
predicting some games. All right, here we go. College football betting. And again, please bet responsibly. I'm going to start off with the first game, and it's my home state. The game opener, NC State Wolfpack will visit Yukon Huskies. And NC State got an all-star caliber quarterback named Brian Armstrong, who is a transfer from Virginia. He too could throw the ball in the air. He has a career twice in his career where he threw over 3,000 yards. There's been some turbulence in that offense, but I think that NC State is there to compete within their conference. On the other side, UConn Huskies. Look, between 2017 to 2021, UConn only won 7 games. And that's also including 2020 when they did not play at all because of the pandemic. Why would they? They just didn't have anybody. Okay. Jim Mora took this team last year and won 6 games. That's not a fluke. Yeah, I know their schedule, you balance from highs and lows.
They had some good
And
wins.
even though we got blown out by ranked teams, and yes, they did get some good wins, but that morale, okay, the structure, the buildup, the commodity, the collaboration of holding everyone accountable. That's UConn football Huskies right there. So if you're going to tell me, oh, NC State is going to go to UConn and they're going to blow them away, I'm going to tell you right now, be careful. Don't pick NC State in this game if you think they're going to blow them out, because it's not going to happen. NC State has not performed well in the state of Connecticut. If we're talking about North Carolina, I'd be like, yo, UConn's going to get blown away. But there's something about being at East Hartford, Connecticut, that NC State don't play right. And I'm telling you right now, the game is going to be closer to what you think. Should NC State win, they're not beating them by over 14 points. I'm picking UConn plus 14.5.
Yeah, I'll take the Wolfpack in the blowout.
Ha! Ha! There you go. Jim Mora is controlling that defense. UConn won 6 games with their backups.
Yep.
They got their primaries now.
Yeah, everyone's hopes are up in Connecticut.
And UConn got depth. And they won. They picked up the transfer portal on wide receivers and secondaries. I'm telling you right now, UConn will not be blown out in this game. There's a reason why they put Wolfpack to play UConn game 1. All right. My favorite game, Florida Gators versus Utah Utes. Graham Mertz transferred from Wisconsin. There's a big change in head coaching over there. He moves over to Florida. Cam Rising, another start for the Utah Utes. I do not have Utah in my top 25. Actually, I have them exactly at number 26. And there's a reason. Okay? Always a reason. Is that even though Cam Rising's good, but they didn't pick anybody that caliber, the freshman, sophomore class and stuff like that. There really is no name. Yeah, they got the talent because probably they got the coaches. But I'm looking at Florida Gators. This is a bounce back year for them. And adding Graham Mertz, I'm going to say it again. These transfers quarterbacks, they're landing in the right spot with the right offense. Mertz is going to show everybody that he could play ball way better than what Wisconsin had him already. And that's why I'm picking Florida Gators for an upset, 6.5, going to Utah and win their game.
Yeah, Utah's going to win this close one at home.
Close one at home, so closer than 6 points? You think they win by just a field goal?
Yes.
All right, so you taking Florida 6.5?
Yep.
I like it. Another thing to pay attention is that over-under is at 45 points. So I'm assuming this is going to be a competitive, low-score game.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I like it to come down to the field goal.
All right, Louisville Cardinals versus Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Both these teams are going to have new quarterbacks to start. I'm not even picking a winner, but I'm definitely picking the over at 48.5. Both these schools could play a good offense, and they have history with one another. Georgia Tech leads 2-0, but both those games have been over 50 points. So why not continue the tradition? Third game, still over 48.5.
Both teams have new quarterbacks. I don't know. I feel like maybe not quite the scoring battle of years past. I'll take the under.
All right, you take the under. Got them. Colorado Buffaloes at TCU Horned Frogs. I'm going to ask you this. Do you think TCU was a Cinderella team, a fluke to enter the college football playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, listen, a little bit. They lost a lot of their top players too, though.
Yeah, but they still had their quarterback.
I don't know.
However, Colorado is a new team. Now, TCU defeated Colorado last year 38-13. Okay. But this is a different Colorado. This is not the same roster. This is filled of transfer portals that has been led by Deion Sanders. So when you say Colorado is going to be blown away by TCU, I can't even evaluate Colorado right now. Remember,
Yeah.
all these starters are gone. This is a new face for Colorado, University of Colorado. I'm taking a plus 20.5. I think that's too big for a team that nobody really knows who is Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'll do the same.
All right.
I'll do the same. I think it could be a close game. That makes, what is it, 20.5?
20.5.
Yeah, I don't know. Colorado might be good. They're not going to beat them, but it might be close.
Okay. 90
Might be
degree
20,
weather.
but that's still close.
It's going to be 9 degrees over there.
Ooh.
In state of Texas. Fort Worth,
Mm-mm.
baby. Woo. All right. They over under is 64. Go figure. I just don't see it.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Ohio State versus Indiana. I picked this game because this is the first game for each and one of them for the Big Ten. So this game counts. However, Ohio State won 27 straight games. The coach for Indiana, well, let me tell you, he only had 2 winning seasons. His best record at best was 8-4. Okay. You're going against Ryan Day, man. That offense, I mean, the wide receivers are just going to kill that defense. I'm taking over 59.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State, I don't know, by 50, 60.
I
It's
mean,
going to
the
be a rout.
spread is 30.5. They're going to meet that spread. Might as
Yes.
well just go over 59.
Yeah, I think Ohio State will probably score 59.
They're not shutting down Indiana because I know Indiana's going to score some points.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a 70-21 kind of game.
Woo. Boise State versus Washington. Why I picked this game to pick is because Michael Penix Jr. This guy's making a comeback. I remember he got hurt last year during the middle of the season. He is back and strong. Taylor Green is also talented. Boise State is not the Boise State we've known from before. All right. But I'm taking Washington to the 14.5 because it's at Washington. They're going to take care of business. I am predicting they're going to win at least 3 touchdowns.
Michael Penix Jr. is the Van Wilder of college football. I mean, I feel like he's been playing college foot. What is he, about 29 now?
To be honest with you, most of these college football players have been going on their 6th season.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
seriously feels like he's been around for a really long time, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like
I
he
think
needs
Taylor
this.
Green is a sophomore for Boise State.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Washington State wins this.
Washington, not Washington State.
Now,
They're not the Cougars. They're the Huskies.
the Huskies. I'm looking at
All
the
right.
purple.
All right. So you're taking 14.5?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Fair enough. West Virginia versus Penn State. Both these teams got to have new quarterbacks. I mean, a lot of people are like, I think Penn State's overrated. I really do.
You always
Uh,
say that. And but West Virginia
but I'm
stinks.
always right, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm always right. Penn
Yeah, but
State can't even
overrated
beat.
teams win games.
I
An
don't get it.
overrated team is going to beat the bejesus out of West Virginia, and it's going to convince everybody when it's time to play Ohio State and Michigan that there's a chance. And then you find out there's not, and you
Right.
say they're overrated. But they're not going to have any trouble with West Virginia, let's be honest.
You never know what you're going to get at University Park, Pennsylvania. It's going to be very, very blindly white over there. And it's a night game. So you got a point there. But I'm still sticking with the West Virginia Mountaineers at 20.5.
Nah, Penn State will cover that. Penn State will kick the crap out of them. And again, next week we'll be like, "Oh, man, Penn State look really good," and it'll all be for naught in a few weeks.
All right. The last time they played was in 1992. That's a
What was the
long
score?
time.
What was the score of that game?
Great question. Let me see if you change my mind. If you change my mind, that'll be the first in this show. I'm
You guys
serious.
are 63
There's
nothing.
not a time that you ever convinced. As a matter of fact, I've done it and helped you in many
Yeah.
occasions.
Well, you're the guru here. I'm the I'm the wild child. I go off a gut. I try to
All right,
visualize the game. What do you got? What was the score?
40-26.
Whoa, it's a lot of points.
So when you say 20 and a half, West Virginia comes out winning. So let's say the
Yeah,
game is 40-20.
yeah,
I'm gonna win this game.
yeah, maybe, but I think Penn State will do a little bit better, and West Virginia will do a little bit worse because West Virginia wasn't terrible back then.
No. Well, we're talking about the 90s, the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
West Virginia used to be
And West
good.
Virginia used to be in the Big East.
Oh my God, yeah. Okay, right on. They definitely were.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, Penn State should manhandle West Virginia.
All right. I'll change it. I'll go with you on that one. I take 20 and a half with you.
No, look at you.
All right. Man, if I lose,
It's a
I
it's a
will
show
never listen
first.
to you again.
And what if I'm right though?
Then I will
Mm,
consider it done to give you credit.
I love it.
All right. North Carolina, South Carolina is probably one of the best games this weekend, man. I can't wait. Drake May, who is a Heisman candidate, Spencer Rattler, we've seen him through obstacles up and down with Oklahoma, led him to South Carolina. This is it, man. This is it for him to prove. Both these players are proving each other that they're better than the best, right? UNC's favorite 2.5 with the over under 64.5. This game is in South Carolina, and the Tar Heel has not won in South Carolina dating back 1988.
Yeah. Listen, I think this is gonna be a shootout of epic proportions. So I am gonna take the over.
Over 64.5.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I am pulling the upset. South Carolina defeats North Carolina.
I also think South Carolina wins this game. I think it's gonna be like 49-45 or something crazy.
I'm gonna like I said, I'm glued to this game. It's gonna be live. The coverage will be on ABC. So that's prime time right there. I like it.
I think
All
it'll be
right.
nice for North Carolina to get any, delusional thoughts out of their head with a week 1 loss,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know?
Talking about delusional. Can LSU get out the slump of losing 3 straight openers? So for the last 3 years, and concluding last year against Florida State, that happened in LSU, a game that LSU should have won that game and lost it. They get their rematch against number 8 Florida State. This is the first ranked to ranked team in college football this season. Jaden Daniels returns to LSU, and the same offense returns for LSU against Jordan Travis and Florida State Seminoles. Florida State has won 5 straight games. LSU's favorite 2.5, especially the game that's going to be at Campy World Stadium. So with the over under 56, again, Seminoles won 24-23 last year. This is and again, I got LSU ranked number 2. I am picking LSU to defeat Florida State. And when many people, especially the media, so you want to be on that bandwagon, are picking Florida State to make it to the college football playoffs.
I'm gonna take Florida State. I think they win this one on a late field goal.
All right. I'm taking LSU in a late field goal.
Yeah, I like it. It comes down to a field goal. Maybe your guy misses, and that's how I win.
No, your guy's going to miss.
It gets blocked. They pick it up, run it in for a touchdown, and I win.
All right. Dude, I swear to God, I will replay this part over and over again if that happens. You're gonna be
How
famous.
funny would that be, right? Nailed it.
The last game, this game, as a matter of fact, let me take it back. LSU and Florida State, what happened Sunday night, Monday Night Football, September 4th, will be Clemson versus Duke. Now, I don't think that this game is going to be I think it's going to be one-sided. I'm taking Clemson with the negative 13 points to defeat the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, this is going to be like a 31-7, 31-3. Clemson covers.
All right. It's 4th down, and I know you have a lot on your mind with Harbaugh, the head coach of Michigan. And before I let you have the solo, I briefly talked about it last week. Harbaugh was suspended for 3 games, and it was imposed by the university. This is not imposed by the NCAA. Now, the NCAA did do a lot of investigation, and they haven't come to a final conclusion. So I'm presumably thinking, this is my thinking. Let me take a playbook from Ohio State when Urban Myers was there. When Ohio State, not Ohio State, NCAA did impose 3 games, right? Because one of his assistants was involved in domestic violence. And of course, there was other circumstances. But you got Harbaugh playing in a gray area. And for not to have games taken away, I think that was that game where Michigan was like, you know what? Let's do this so we won't get penalized later on down the road.
Right.
We won't lose that credibility of making it to the college football playoffs. We do this now because we know we're going back to the college football playoffs. Then again, it all depends if they could beat Ohio State this year, right? I hope they could because the game's in Michigan. However, that's a good game plan that they come up with. But what message are you giving to the players or everyone else watching college football? So with that said,
his son, by the way, is going to get to coach one of the halves of I think the second game. His son will be the head coach.
Yeah, there's a lot of round robin coaching going on until they play against the Big Ten Conference.
Yeah,
which
they got some time to mess around, like you said.
They got 3 scrimmage games, but God forbid they lose one of them. That'll be the most embarrassing season for the Michigan football team. And with that, take it away.
Thanks, Obi. Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh opened his press conference this week talking about paying players. Harbaugh claims he actually brought up that idea at Big Ten Media Day in 2020 and 2022 as well. Jim Harbaugh said he wants to be the voice of student athletes. I don't know if he's the man for the job, but it's nice that someone wants to get the kids back. As Harbaugh mentioned, the powers that be are raking in billions of dollars and exploiting student athletes. I mean, it's literally the formula for college athletics. Michigan is on the precipice of what could be a very successful season. And while Coach Harbaugh is looking forward to this season, he is going to miss the first 3 games, as we just mentioned, recruiting violations during COVID. So the guy who wants to be the voice of student athletes is banned for 3 games for his treatment of student athletes during COVID. Harbaugh mentioned the system is broken. He would know. He's one of the guys that broke it. Hopefully, Jim Harbaugh's rant may spark some other coaches to speak out, just not ones who have already taken advantage of the system. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you tune in next week for all 4 downs.